Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the IRL PS4 F1 League here at Invictus Racing League. My name is Gareth, and joining me, as always, is Sab. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. We are here, round two. Last week was an absolutely stunning race. We couldn't keep an eye on everything. It was that chaotic. But so we're going into tonight at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, hoping for more of the same. Because even after the racing last week, we had some dramas with the stewards' penalties and races re-won by other drivers. It was absolutely crazy, wasn't it, Gareth? And we, in the end, KJ won the race, but after penalties, for him, resulted in Harry taking the first win of the season with CRG Gamer 62, our defending F1 champion, coming home in second place. So probably a lucky second place because he didn't have the best of nights last week, so he'll be wanting to try and rectify that and get one on his closest rival of last season. So tonight should be absolutely thrilling to watch.
Yeah, it really will be, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It's the fastest lap in the F1 calendar, so it's going to be a good watch. We're expecting to see qualifying times into the 63s, perhaps even the low 63s, high 62s, if these guys really lock in a good lap around here. Pole last time we were here, which was a couple of seasons ago. It was season 9, round 10. It was pole for Hercules, who unfortunately has left the F1 League after some incidents last week and decided to take a break away from league racing, but he set the pole of a 1:41:09, ended up going and taking it through to the victory ahead of Harry, who won last week's race, and the season 9 champion Jumperlinen, and Jumperlinen a reserve in the IRL F1 League, so we hopefully will get to see Jumperlinen make a return at some point this season. But yeah, it's going to be a quick one. Expect to see the likes of CRG Gamer and KJL Tink go for it. Harry, we know, is very, very fast around here, and he'll be looking at beating his last qualifying time that he set at the Red Bull Ring, and that was a 1:04:371, only good enough for third place. Warrislander, second place he managed last time, a 1:04:351, 200 seconds faster than Harry. So watch out for the Dutchman. He has moved over to Red Bull to make an all-Dutch Red Bull team, joining Burmeister at that team. But yeah, Sab, as you were saying, KJ and CRG Gamer definitely the drivers to watch out for tonight. And Gamer's promotion to P2 after KJ's penalty, unfortunately, for intentionally destroying his car on circuit during one of the sessions, cost him that 20-second penalty, dropped him down well off the podium as well. But that promoted, as you say, Harry up into P1, Gamer into P2, just Asas in his first race into P3. But Gamer's P2 has meant that he's only finished outside of the top 2 once in the last 13 races here at Invictus.
That's incredible, isn't it, really, when you think about it? And sometimes, as a champion or as a champion-elect, you need that slice of luck, and I think Gamer certainly got it. But huge congratulations to Just Asas there on his debut, taking that to podium there. He was decent, wasn't he, last week? He certainly impressed me watching him racing last week. So hopefully we'll see more of that tonight. But like you say, I think going into this, you mentioned Harry, CRG Gamer, and KJ Eltink. I think they'll be the three to watch in this qualifying round coming up now, because they are absolutely lightning quick. And who knows? We know what Austria's like. We might not even get into those 63s because we might even have some wet weather running. And you know, Austria can bring that, so we're just about to load into that now. Fingers crossed, selfishly fingers crossed, these guys who are racing will be hating me saying that, but I hope we have something to just spice things up tonight. But we've got a lot of other good battles going on throughout this season so far, by the looks of it, because that midfield last week, we were watching it, weren't we? And there was a 5-car battle for the tail end of points. And if we get more of that this season, it's going to be one hell of a season. We've seen 2 lots of battles, one fight at the very front and one fight for those points at the tail end. So who knows what's going to happen. You've got the likes of Scott Foxy and even Cliffy and Scopefield, Sam also in there. Sam had a troublesome race last week, didn't he? But as you can see, we are into the session now, and it's glorious blue skies at the moment for the guys, which they'll be very pleased about.
They will indeed, as everyone's just waiting in the box, and we can hear a couple of the engines whirring up. It looks like we've got some work going on in the Williams garage. It looks as though Scott Bugner's going to be making his way out on circuit very, very shortly. And we'd just like to say quickly, before we get both Harry and Scott rolling out on circuit, it looks as though they will be heading out as out they come in formation. They'll be followed by one of the Mercedes cars. A huge thank you to everyone that supported the live stream, the broadcast last week. We had brilliant viewing numbers, equally some really strong likes and comments on the videos, and of course if you do the same this week, it will equally help us out as much. And of course, as I say, liking the video is huge for YouTube's algorithm, helping us get pushed through to new viewers, new subscribers, and to let everyone else watch your wonderful racing. So yeah, make sure, of course, if you are enjoying it, to like the video, and if you're not, let us know why and drop into the comments. It's always good to hear from you. Of course, this is there's plenty of racing to come here at the Red Bull Ring over this week. Of course, last night was the first of the week, and that was the IRL F1 XBOX League, and they kicked off the week's racing. Then of course tonight we have the IRL PS4 F1 League, and then tomorrow we have the IRL PS4 F2 League, and that equally has the IRL XBOX F2 League. So F2 and F1 on an Xbox on a Sunday, on a Monday on PS4, F2s for both Xbox and PS4 on a Tuesday, and then on Wednesday you've got IRL F3 and F4 and the new IRL PC F1 League, as they will be making their debut this season. So plenty of action to watch, and of course you can watch them performance on a Thursday. So as I said, loads of action. Of course you can watch it all here on YouTube, so make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all that good stuff you do on the socials. And at the moment, Sab, we've got a lot of drivers now on circuit, and we're expecting to see times upwards of 62, 63, 64 seconds, the fastest of any of the tracks on the F1 calendar.
We certainly are. I'm just keeping an eye on Harry right now. He's coming up to the final sector, and so far this has looked a real tidy lap for his first flying lap of the evening. He's coming up to the final few corners now, so be able to tell us shortly what he's going to set down as a banker. Can just make sure he doesn't run wide here. It's easy to run wide at this part of the circuit, as here he comes. No problems at all for Harry, and it's a 102.9. There is one hell of a banker lap there from Harry, and that really does set a precedent of what we expected at, because that was very, very good from Harry. And if you can pull that off later, oh, wow, there you go. CRG Gamer goes even quicker with a 102.6, a 3/10 Gamer found on there. And are we going to be seeing to the low 102s here, the way these guys are going? Because these are very, very quick first banker laps, aren't they?
Yeah, we were expecting times to be around about the 103s, but Pole to be perhaps dipping into the 102s. But Gamer's not just dipped into the 102s, he's absolutely broken the door down and announced himself to the room that he's in the 102. So expect to see him go even quicker. On board with KJ, he gets a nice little toe off one of the Renaults going down into the hairpin at turn 4. Of course, 3 DRS sections. There's the other Renault just off to the side of the circuit. They're trying to get out of the way, and you can see KJ, of course, came across the line as last week's winner. Unfortunately, demoted after being called into the steward's office and slapped on the wrist for destroying his car on circuit. And he now comes to the Rint corner at turn 9 and into turn 10. Takes it at full speed. Can KJ get himself up onto the front row and displace Harry, or even challenge Gamer for the pole position, up with a 102.925, fractionally faster than Harry?
Wow, that is very close. We called those 3 guys out early on, didn't we, as potential pole sitters, and they are proving us right so far, aren't they? I'll be interested to see what the likes of Sam Pito and the likes of Cliffy does next. We've seen them playing some interesting tactics last week, didn't we? They getting to the line and slowing right down, not wanting to set times on those soft tyres. So it'll be interesting to see how they play out, because the likes of Cliffy, for example, I always get a little frustrated with Cliffy, because I feel like he's very, very quick, but he always seems to want to make it more difficult for himself and start at the back and carve his way through. I'm just keeping an eye on Fox Red, and Fox Red A bit of a sighter lap for Foxy Red because it's only a 106.3, so Foxy Red taking things a bit easier so far early on.
Yeah, Foxy, who was equally involved the last time that the IRL F1 League were here at the Red Bull Ring. He did a 104.420. It was good enough for 4th place on the grid, so he'll be looking at beating that time again this evening. Welcome to everyone joining us. Thank you for coming along, and hopefully you enjoy the evening. Let us know who you're looking out for, or are you just getting tips for your week's racing here at Invictus. And we're on board with TL44S, the racing point driver teammates, as you were just talking about, with Cliffy7765, and Cliffy, who we know can really rock in an electric lap. He just needs to get his car across the line, is something he struggled with in France last week, and he was very strong in the race, but unfortunately that qualifying hampered him somewhat, as there's an invalidation for TL44S, and a lot of these invalidations will be using a little bit too much of that exit road and that service road between the short circuit, between the exit of turn 1 and turn 7, so watch out for that, because that's where the majority of invalidations may come from.
Just keeping an eye on Burmeister. It's a bit of a scruffy lap for the Red Bull driver at the moment. He ran wide at turn 3 and he's locked his front right up quite a few times in the preceding corners as well, so not the strongest of laps from Burmeister. It'll be interesting if he carries this on. I've noticed as well further down the field is people trying to set times, but have been invalidated, so not good enough for them at the moment, like TTG, Nathan 66, unable to set time, but Burmeister is carrying this on. What can Burmeister do? It's going to be a 103.822, so that's not too bad really from Burmeister, because that was a pretty scuffed lap, so I think if he could tidy it up a little bit, he could find himself fighting with the likes of Scott and Arby's there.
War Standard does a 15.7 in the first sector as the 25 Red Bull now scampers his way down the back straight from turn 3 to turn 4. DRS assisted, of course, down into the hairpin. Of course, you don't want to lock up going down in there as he does. That's a heavy front right lock up there for the Dutchman as he exits turn 4 into the slight kink at turn 5. It's not really a turn. They call it 10 turns around here in the official guide, but really there's only about 7 or 8 if you count some of these quick flicks. And yeah, Warristander is still making his way around the circuit. Of course, started on the front row last time we were here at the Red Bull Ring. Can he challenge towards the front end this time around? We know that he's a good quick qualifier on his day. He comes up to the line. It's going to be a little bit slow into the 3s. It's a 1.31, so much faster than his time last time, only good enough for 5th.
CRG Game is really putting the hammer down now. He's just gone even quicker with a 102.519. Stunning lap for the Mercedes driver there, and it's really setting the level now, is it, for these guys to try and beat that. Is going to be one hell of a lap time to beat. I was keeping an eye on him and Sambam Kid. Kid has put in a decent lap time there for the Haas team. A 103.0 puts him in 4th place, not too far behind the likes of Harry and KJ, so Sam will be definitely pleased with that. Sam struggled a little bit last week, didn't he, finding his feet once again in the league, but I'm sure with his experience behind him and he gets back to racing in this league, he'll be fighting at the front, I'm sure, very soon. But yeah, Gamer, he's looking like the man to beat at the minute, and I don't want to say it too long as we've still got 9 minutes on, but he's probably already your pole man, because it's going to take one hell of a lap time to get into, say, the 102.4s.
Yeah, that's almost half a second faster than anyone else at the moment, so Gamer is definitely looking back on form in this one. And Sab, it's your turn for some podium questions tonight. It sounds already like you might be speaking to Gamer for this one, because yeah, that 102.5 is a blistering time as Jakob does a 103.364. But there you can see the gap between Scott, Arbiz and Jakob is 0.03 of a second. So that's how close it's going to be in this midfield. You were alluding to it earlier this evening, just how tight it's been in that midfield battle at the moment. So yeah, watch out for this lot, because it's going to be very tasty once we get to green.
I'm just keeping an eye on further down, and Simon Fitto is struggling once again this evening. He's gone for another lap, invalidated and abandoned it and come straight in, so the Mercedes teammate of CRG Gamer not having it good at the moment. TL4 I'm just looking at now. He's going to come across the line now. What can he do for his first flying lap of the evening? TL4 jumped up to 7th place with a 1:03.21. Wow, it's so close, isn't it? If you're looking there right now, 7th down to 11th, there's less than 1/10 of a second between them all. That just shows you how tight that midfield pack is, and if you can find a 10th or 2 round here, you can find yourself jumping up 4 or 5 places. So this will be fascinating, as TL4's teammate Cliffy had invalidated his previous time, so Cliffy's trying to go once again, and Cliffy struggling out there at the moment with that time, but that's just about got out his way there. Cliffy on another flying lap, and CRG Gamer went to go round the outside of Harry, but luckily CRG Gamer didn't block Cliffy and managed to get out of the way quick enough as Cliffy sets on to try and set a lap this evening.
KJ Elting improving his time up to a 1:02.596. Not quite close enough, but he's getting closer to that 1:02.519 of CRG Gamer. Gamer's now on his outlap, getting ready for another lap here. You can see everyone going for the soft tyres, everyone knowing that race position here in the DRS train is particularly important, because you don't want to get caught in that mid-pack. You won't be moving forward, you'll just get stuck in someone else's DRS, but equally towing someone else along with you. So watch out to see what a lot of these drivers do later on in this session. We're just trying to find CRG Gamer. We'll go on board with him here.
Sorry, Gareth. Sorry, Cliffy has finally managed to nail the lap, and what a lap it was from Cliffy. A 1:02.699. That has put his racing point ahead of Harry into 3rd place. That was a stunning lap from Cliffy there, and he'll surely be very pleased with that.
We're just on board here with CRG Gamers, 0.02 of a second slower as he looks to improve on that 1:02.519 provisional pole position ahead of him. He's going to get a little bit of a slipstream from Cliffy, who has just set that time. Peels out of the toe down towards turn 4. Will sit right above his head for the remainder of this lap. Locks up slightly there into turn 4. Now the quick kink at turn 5. And it's going to be a jink to the left at turn 6. Just a little bit, knocking it down through the gears into 5th. Quick shift up into 6th place. 6th gear, there we go, holding it through 6th, through the turn 7 and 8 complex. Now it's a quick sprint down towards turn 9 at Rint Curve, holding on the power as long as possible, sliding the corner out, using as much of the runoff area as possible. Comes out in the final corner, it's going to be close to his pole time. Can he improve? No, quite. It's a 1/10.5 slower, but with 5 minutes left to go, plenty of time for improvements.
I'm feeling so frustrated for Sam Pitter right now. He was on for a good lap. He ended up, I think, setting a 1:03.3, which seems to be everybody doing at the moment. But unfortunately, on the final corner, he ran too wide and invalidated. And unfortunately for Sam, there's still no time set for him. I just wanted to point out as well, Cliffy's teammate TL4 is putting a stonking lap there with a 1:03.006 to put him into P5 there to Sandbound Kid. So that was a great lap from TL4. But if you look there as well, he's done 3 laps on those soft tyres already, so that's going to put him at a bit of a disadvantage come the race. But nonetheless, it's a good lap from TL4, and he's shown good signs already early on in this season, TL4.
Yeah, absolutely so, and that is, as you say, a brilliant lap time. They're just 6,000ths of a second over the 62-second range. So a brilliant lap there from the Racing Point, as Racing Point looking very strong so far, and currently in 3rd and 5th place. Just on board with Just Asas, of course, who stepped onto the podium in his first race, IRL F1. Actually came across the line in 2nd place, but 6 seconds time penalties relegated down to 4th. Fortunately for KJ's penalty, as he unfortunately invalidates there. He's just got over 4 minutes to dive back into the pit lane, though, if he's to come out and try and set another lap. Scott Bogner's coming up to the line. Can he improve on 9th? He goes up into 6th place. It's a 1:03.032 there. So look how tight it is between TL4S and Sandbound Kid. It's just a couple of hundredths of a second between quite a number of these drivers, as everyone's into the box, it seems, bar Arbiz and Nathan. You can imagine the track's going to get very busy very, very quickly.
It really is. I absolutely love how tight that is. It just shows you, doesn't it? You know, a fraction here or there, and you could lose places quite quickly. And it gives you an idea, if you didn't see last week, at how tight this pack is, and how good of racing we had. And if this is anything to go by, based on this qualifying, the race should be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, just over 3 minutes left on the clock now. And what are you thinking, Gav? Can anybody challenge Gamer? Can KJ get that little bit more, or is Gamer? Do you think Gamer's got this in the bag?
I said that Cliffy was my dark horse for this championship, and that time of 102.699 is a good banker time there for him. So watch see him improve as Nathan goes up into 13th. At 103.3, he puts himself equally onto that roll of 103.3s. Yeah, watch out for Cliffy. Of course, we know that Eltink has got some monster pace underneath that car when he locks it in for a good lap. So you can see everyone now starting to filter their way out on circuit, and we'll try and see who's got the advantage. It looks as though you can see it's going to be Cliffy, who's slightly ahead of Gamer. Now, is he going to let the Mercedes go? Of course, you do get a slight toe effect here, but you will get caught out in dirty air especially into turn 9 and turn 10, the final 2 corners on the lap. So will Cliffy stay ahead of Gamer? It looks as though Gamer's peeling back to give himself that fresh air. But yeah, we've now just got over 2 minutes left to go on this circuit. It's 4.3 kilometres long, 2.68 miles. It's only the 4th shortest of the year, so it's not actually the shortest, even though they only do a lap time around 62 seconds. It's a 185 metre dash down to turn 1. Longest straight is 868 metres. Top speed upwards of 194 miles an hour. Full throttle 66% of the lap, with high ERS demands, of course. Very hard to recover as Cliffy proves it heading up the hill towards turn 2. Its gear changes only 27. Of course, not many braking points at all around here, so you don't really shift down too much. And it's 10 turns with 3 DRS zones. Cliffy now heading down towards turn 4. This is the final attempt for everyone out on circuit. We've got a couple of yellows just for slow cars just winding up. We'll see if Cliffy can improve on this 102.699. It looks as though that CRG Gamer might be going faster. Cliffy does back out of it, and he's going to let Gamer go. So Cliffy will not be improving on this lap. Does he go again? He's got a minute to get around. He's got plenty of time, but Gamer is coming around to the final 2 corners. He's going to look to beat this absolutely blistering time of 102.5. Can he improve on that time? He's going to go wide at the final corner. Invalidates, comes across the line. What would it have been? It would have been a 102.3. So this is the gauntlet now thrown down to KJ Eltic and to Cliffy if they can go again, because that was a 102.3 that's available. It's there on the table. Can KJ, can Cliffy, can even Harry get close?
I thought Gamer got it there. I was right on board with Gamer for the whole of that lap, and that final corner cost him, unfortunately. Just keeping an eye on Cliffy now, and Cliffy's fractionally down on his previous time, but can he make it up in his final few laps? So I was keeping an eye on KJ as well, and KJ has invalidated as well, so KJ will not be improving. KJ is invalidated. He's only got 7 seconds left on the clock, so that is it for KJ. Can Cliffy jump above the likes of KJ, or even above Gamer? It's very tight, this, isn't it? What is Cliffy now? 22 hundredths of a second down. He's so close, this, but I don't think Cliffy's just going to quite, unless he can manage it in these final 2 corners and pull off some hell of a last sector here. Can he do it? Oh no, he's run wide, so Cliffy won't be improving. He would have done a 102.7, so wouldn't have improved anyway. But Gamer can probably breathe a huge sigh of relief there, because KJ was a bit all out of sorts, and unfortunately Cliffy just couldn't quite get there. And
yeah, KJ unfortunately doesn't improve. Cliffy doesn't improve. Harry does improve, but not enough to worry the top row of the grid. The only one out on circuit is still setting a lap time is Samuel Pepito, currently sitting on 103.249, and he will be the last one to cross the line because Just Asas has invalidated his lap time. So can Sam get himself up into the top 10, or will he be starting on fresh rubber come the race? Into the pit box comes the Mercedes, ending the qualifying session, and Sam once again starts outside of the top 10.
A very frustrating evening again for Sam, unfortunately. He'll be able to choose his own strategy starting outside that top 10, but it's not good, is it, for him? Sam, I think, expects a lot more of himself, and unfortunately, starting down in P13 is not what he expected. But that was a superb qualifying, wasn't it? How tight it was, not only at the top, but throughout the whole top 10 as well. And as you'll see now, yeah, I'm sure I wouldn't like to try and have a guess at who's going to win this race, but I'll hand it over to you to read out the results.
Yeah, there you go. CRG Gamer takes pole position by 7/100ths of a second. It took KJ in second place. Cliffy in third with Harry rounding out the second row in fourth. TL44, brilliant qualifying session for him in fifth with Sam in sixth. Then you've got Warrislander in seventh with Scott Bugner in eighth. Jakob, good lap from him in ninth with Just Ace in 10th. Foxy Red can only manage 11th with Rymac. Good qualifying for the Scotsman. 103.2 ahead of Samu Arbiz, Schofield at Nathan and Burmeister. The top, what was that, all the way from 6th down to 11th, I think is split by just over 0.2 of a second. It's going to be mighty close. We're expecting a dry race for this one, so we'll be able to see if anyone goes for an altering strategy. 1 stop and 2 stop are both available, as you can see there. It's meant to be a dry race, but it's very murky, misty, overcast, foggy, all of that nasty stuff. But yeah, that means the tyres will, the track temperature will be down somewhat, so it'll take a little bit longer to get those tyres up to temperature, so you're going to want to work them over on the formation lap. The hard tyres here, they will go for 28 laps. The inters, and sorry, if we ever go to inters, which we're not meant to, they do the same as the medium tyres. So both the wet tyre and the medium dry tyre go for 22 laps, and the softs can go anywhere up to 16 laps. Expect to see the 1 stop is usually the favoured one here, but 2 stop is available if you can fight your way through the traffic. Of course, the soft tyres will be the fastest. That's what everyone in the top 10 will be starting on, and I imagine quite a few outside of the top 10 might elect to start on unless they think otherwise with strategy. The medium tyre is about 0.8 of a second slower, with the hards 1.2 seconds back from the softs. And Sab, what did the table look like at the end of last week? Well, Harry leads the way, 15 points ahead of Gamer and Just Asas. So you've got to think, if you're Harry lining up on the second row, he's got to feel that he can keep Gamer within arm's length and possibly hold on to a championship lead leaving round 2.
He's got to aim for that, hasn't he? But I think, in my opinion, he's got to try and get past Cliffy and the likes of KJ quite early on, because what we've often seen with CRG Gamer is when he's out at front in pole position, as long as he doesn't make a mistake or gets jumped early on, if he's in front, he normally starts to stretch his legs, and that's when it's really difficult to catch Gamer. And Harry will not want Gamer to run away with this race, so Harry will be, I'm sure, be eager to try and get past KJ and Cliffy quite quickly if he can, and trying to hang on to the back of Gamer and take it to Gamer, because he doesn't want to get into a battle where he's fighting KJ and Cliffy for a long period of this race early on, because that just pretty much hands this race, doesn't it, to Gamer. So be interested to see how Harry approaches this, because you want to be aggressive, I imagine, but like you say, he's the current championship leader, so he doesn't want to be too aggressive, does he, and end up making a mistake or picking up any front wing damage or penalties, which could eventually cost him more points than he could lose to Gamer. So as the cars now are just going round on their formation lap, I'll just give you a quick summary of what everybody's doing outside the top 10, and quite a few guys are going for the soft tyre. So Foxy, Rymac, Sam on 11th, 12th and 13th going on the soft tyre, with Arbiz the first of the medium tyres in that Ferrari in 14th, with Schofield 15th on a set of softs, with TTG, Nathan 66 and Burmeister on medium. So expect those 3 medium guys to run longer, and they'll be hoping to try and hang on to these soft running guys and try and get far into this race and cause some trouble later on. But yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be interesting. My eyes are going to firmly be on the likes of KJ, because KJ, apart from that penalty last week, drove superbly, didn't he, Gareth? He was absolutely, in my opinion, just thinking of race terms, he really did deserve that win. Unfortunately, that penalty cost him, but he was absolutely superb in that race. So if he can do the same tonight, KJ will have a very good chance, and Gamer will have a lot to think about.
Absolutely, so cannot wait for this one. After the electric start to the season we had last Monday, this one is going to be a doozy, so watch out for it. And make sure, of course, if you're watching, to like the video and to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Pit stop window is there in front of you. One stop from the soft to the medium, lap 14 to 16, and onto the hards, lap 12 to 16. Possible 2 stops can be made, so watch out for them if we want to see anyone going super aggressive on those tyres. We're at the 7th appearance on a Monday here at the Red Bull Ring, the 2nd in the history of IRL F1 after its formation just a few seasons ago. Gamer, he's still only 1 win away from equaling Scopefielder's all-time win record here at Invictus. Currently sits on 23 with Scope's record at 24. We've got plenty of records that can be beaten tonight. Will Harry add to his 6 wins that he's taken so far after taking round 1 just 7 days ago? We've got Gamer on pole with KJ alongside Cliffy and Harry in the 2nd row, and we've got Green, and we're ready to go to set us off for this one here at the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be an absolute blast of a race up towards the turn 1 kink, and it's going to be CRG Gamer equally wanting to get one back over on KJs. We've got a session lever there, but 5 lights, and we're ready to go. It's a jump through penalty for several drivers there already as we go up towards turn 1, and KJ gets the launch, so possible that we've got yeah, it seems as though we might have an issue out on circuit, because there was a lot of contact going into turn 1 and turn 2. Into turn 1 there for a lot of drivers, but it's KJ that gets the jump on everyone else, seemingly launching off the line almost a second ahead of anyone else.
That was bizarre, I'll be honest. I didn't have any likes on my screen there until I didn't realise until they were all going that the race was underway, but we are underway, and KJ is in the lead. Gamer will be frustrated with that. I believe I've seen TL4FS pick up a drive-through penalty for jump start, but I don't recall seeing anybody else, so a bit of a struggle start here, but we are underway now. Warrislander, a superb start for him. He's up into 5th place and now trying to hang on to back of Harry. Harry hanging on to 4th. Trying to look now to try and get past Cliffy as Scott Bugner makes up a place on TL4FS. It's a good start for Scott as well, up 2 places into 6th.
Yeah, brilliant start there. Into the pit lane comes KJ, so he may be one of those drivers that has to serve a jump start, as we've got DRS enabled already, which says we're now on lap 3, so that is a glitch. We've only just finished lap 1, yeah, watch out. We're obviously having some timing issues on screen, as Foxy registered a fastest lap of 42 seconds, which would be impressive, but yeah, we will momentarily get past this, and we will see. At the moment, it should now be within the pit, out of the pit lane. KJ Eltink comes, just ace, that's Rymac, some other of those drivers that were hit by jump start penalties. It will be Gamer leading from Cliffy and Harry in 3rd place. Warrislander will be in 4th place with Scott Bugner making up some good positions now in 5th.
Yeah, Harry. It's done all right so far. It's like hanging on to the back of Cliffy. Cliffy staying in there, but moment Gamer, he's now got a clear track ahead of him, and Gamer will be eyeing up opportunities. Is Cliffy coming into the pits? Yes, Cliffy's coming into the pit, so I'm not entirely sure why that is, but Cliffy was behind Gamer, now into the pits. I don't believe he has a penalty for us, but now that promotes Harry up into 2nd place, and Warrislander, his jump from Ferrari to Red Bull seems to have paid off so far, because Warrislander now into 3rd with Scott Bugner not far behind Warris in 4th.
Yeah, there is, you can see it's drive-through penalties being served for both the racing points. There's Cliffy and TL4FS make their way straight through without stopping, so yeah, a lot of drive-throughs given out to several of these drivers, so possibly slightly aggrieved will be the likes of Cliffy and KJ Eltink, who have dropped to the rear of the field, and that's now pushed Gamer up into lead by 2.6 seconds. He's already stretched out over Harry. Warrislander has now got Scott for company. He's in a Williams sandwich as they enter into the infield section at turn 6, but yeah, Warris, a good start for him, and it looks as a little bit of vapour coming out the back of that Red Bull there as the exits out of the quick flick at turn 8. But yeah, doing a good job, currently on the podium in 3rd place. But Scott, that's a much better start from him. Unfortunately, he's used the unfortunate penalties for a lot of the drivers behind, but he's made his way up into a contending position for a podium.
He really has, and I was briefly chatting to him before this race now as he picks up DRS, as Warrislander also has DRS, so he'll be able to defend a little bit from Scott. I was talking to Scott and he wasn't sounding too confident about this race now, but I'm sure he'll be delighted with how this has gone so far, and challenging Warrislander now in that Red Bull. He'll be hoping to try and dispatch him quite quickly and get onto the back of his teammate. But right now, as a Williams standpoint, it's looking very good. But Warrislander, we've seen him before in these positions, haven't we, Warrislander? He's been in podium positions before and sometimes just made a mistake or two here, what's cost him valuable positions and places. So fingers crossed for Warrislander, he can make the most of this opportunity now.
Yeah, absolutely so, but Scott is closing in on him. He's got a really nice run. They come down to Jochen Rindt curve at turn 19. Turn 9, there we go. I was adding a few more corners onto the circuit. But yeah, Scott, it's a little bit slower out the final corner, and that's going to allow Warris just to pull up ahead somewhat. But yeah, you can see we're now on lap 5 of 36. But yeah, if I recall, Sav, I don't know what you've got on your screen, but I don't think we've done 5 laps so far. I think we've only done 3. But yeah, it is CLG Gamer leading from Harry as Scott goes up the inside of Warris into third place on circuit. Good move there from the Englishman, and that makes it a Williams podium at the moment as Foxy manages to rejoin after jumping out at the start. It might have been an issue for him that caused a few of the problems, but Sam Pito has made his way up. He's just been jumped by Sam Bamkid into 5th position, but Sam, after he's really benefited from a lot of these drivers' unfortunate penalties, because he's found himself right up there in the fight for this potentially even podium. They're only 1.6 off of Warrislander.
It's a great battle between him and Sam. They were side by side for a good couple of corners, and Sam Bamkid eventually...
I think, just to cut you off, I think we are having a lobby reset, which is the right decision. Just heard word from the admins. We are going to have a lobby reset due to that issue with the timing at the start and several of the drivers being given penalties off the line. It looks as though several were sent off before everyone else, and yeah, unfortunately that means a lobby restart. So a little bit of downtime for you and I, Sab. We can just quickly collect our thoughts and go back over what's happened here, but bear with me 2 seconds. I'll just leave this lobby, but yeah, unfortunately there, Sab, it's gonna just make everyone bait their breath a little bit, but it does get everyone a chance to reset. But it also does mean that when we start, it will be on a custom grid, so everyone on fresh tyres. So the drivers inside the top 10, that's worked out pretty nicely for them.
It has, and I feel sorry for a little bit for Scott, because he was feeling so frustrated and downbeat about this race. He made such a good start to the race and just overtaking Warrislander, and then unfortunately having to get the lobby reset. But I'd say it's probably the right call. I couldn't quite see on your screen, but I was having drivers jumping up and down on the screen all the time. I was finding it quite difficult to work out who was where, but yeah, I think it is the right call. Obviously there was some sort of issue on the starting grid for that many people to get a drive-through penalty. So fingers crossed we can get this back underway quickly and we can get back to the racing action. But just to go on what we've just seen, Harry will be wanted to try and catch up with Gamer a lot quicker, because Gamer really stretched his legs out early on, didn't he? It was 2.6, 2.8 seconds after 3 laps, so Gamer really stretching his legs and strutting his stuff, wasn't he, early on in that? So Gamer will be frustrated that we've had to do this, but I think also pleased that he knows that he's got not only the pace in qualifying, but he's also got the pace, as it seems, in the race as well. So be interested to see how this goes and how we get on. But yeah, what do we do from here? What would you do if you was the likes of Harry or Cliffy, for example? Because Cliffy was one of these. Would you try and focus on Gamer, or do you believe that Gamer is a bit too far out of reach based on that, and try and just focus on mopping up the remaining podium places?
It's a bit of a defeatist attitude to have, isn't it? But unfortunately, it looks as though Gamer is in the zone tonight, which I'm sure will will be delighting him, and I'm sure will be delighting his team CRG as they promote that driver, as he's made a rise through the ranks of brilliant pace, and he's a very lovely lad as well. And yeah, started with us many years ago, and he's come back and lit up this league with some serious pace. And if he can lay down that pace that he started off the first session with, then he's in for an easier evening compared to what we saw around one. But of course, KJ hopefully will be back out on circuit after having to serve that penalty. So hopefully we will get to go green properly. I did have an inkling that we should have had a lobby reset due to so many drivers suffering with issues in that one. It would have seemed unfair to kind of starve us of that battle with the likes of KJ and equally the 2 racing points. It seemed to work very nicely into the hands of some of the other drivers, much like Scott Bugner and Sam Pepito had been made his way up, but it was a slightly how do you put it nicely? It was maybe a false position with so many drivers having to have pitted for a stop, well, for a drive-through penalty. So yeah, we will get to restart hopefully very soon, and well, I'm sure, Sab, we'll do this all again, and I'm sure it'll be as good as the first time round.
I hope so, because qualifying based on last week's racing, we saw some epic battles, didn't we, last week? That like I said earlier, that 5-car battle we had, fighting over, what was it, 8th down to 12th. It was incredible racing from those guys as well. So hopefully, with the track being shorter and smaller, we get even closer racing this evening. So that midfield, I don't like using midfield too much, because I imagine these guys will find it a bit insulting that they're classed as the midfield, so to speak. But those guys in that midfield bunch, you just don't know where it's going to go right now, based on what we saw last week. And I imagine Sam will be frustrated. You mentioned Sam will be very frustrated, because he felt like he'd made up such a great amount of places, and people all them penalties. After how poor of a race, by his standards, he had last week, he'd have been hoping to have improved, and to see what he managed to do during that short stint there, he would have felt like his luck has changed. But unfortunately, like we say, it was the right thing to do. So Sam will have to do it again if he wants to try and get in there. And I'm imagining with the likes of Cliffy and KG now getting put back into their places, hopefully we get an opportunity now for those guys to try and really give it to Gamer, because those guys had to pit in early. It didn't really give Harry a chance, because he was already down in 4th place to try and push on Gamer, so that buffer just extended quite quickly, didn't it? But looking through that midfield, who would you say, who would you look at in that midfield and say, these guys, they could just step it up a notch? Or do you think that midfield is just going to be like that throughout the whole of this season? Because there's just no room to manoeuvre, is there, in terms of lap time or race pace?
No, definitely not. And it's definitely the chance for maybe some shock podiums this season. But we know that KJ and Gamer and Harry will most likely be your championship protagonists. But that's not going to. I'm sure that's not going to misel anyone else of fighting and thinking that they can come and win. And everyone, as Scott said to me the other day, everyone thinks that they can turn up and win. So and that's the right attitude to have in certain situations. But I'm sure everyone will have their eye on at least a podium. And the likes of TR44S, who's been improving since joining the Monday evening. And watch out for him. And the Racing Point team, as a collective, both of them will be a very fun team to watch. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us, guys. Unfortunately, we are having a slight break here whilst we get a new lobby set back up. So we will be going to green as soon as we can get it restarted. So stick with us. Sab and I will fill some content in the middle. We'll just have a quick chat and we'll talk about everything else going on, and maybe even do some karaoke for you, just to keep the time ticking over. So if you are watching, let us know who you're supporting, what you're watching for? Are you here just to spy on the strategies going forward as we bring you the rest of the week's action here at Invictus Racing League? Of course, Monday nights is exclusively IRL PS4 F1. We will be here every Monday night, every week for the 12 weeks of the season, covering the PS4 League at the top tier here at Invictus Racing League on the PS4. Of course, Xbox, their F1 League kicks off the week's racing on a Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. And then, of course, Tuesdays are now F2 nights for both PS4 and Xbox. And that is 8 o'clock on YouTube for IRL PS4 F2. And on twitch.tv, you can see the F2 League on Xbox from 9 p.m. This is all UK time, of course, British summer time. And then Wednesdays, you will have the IRL F3 and F4 leagues on the PS4 and the PC League. So the PC League kicking off this season for the first time ever. They will equally be racing at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday alongside F3 and F4. And then, of course, on Thursdays has seen the Performance League find a new home with its new format, with the likes of full qualification on odd rounds and reverse grids on even rounds, and of course many other new innovations to that league to keep it exciting and different from the equal performance stuff that we provide throughout the rest of the week. But yeah, Sab, what are we thinking so far from this season, from what we've seen so far at this race, and equally what we saw from France?
Championship, but I'm really excited to see how it goes down in the Constructors' Championship. You alluded just then to the Racing Point team. I'm really excited by that Racing Point team, especially how well TR44S did in that qualifying. He backed his teammate up as well, very well last week, Cliffy, in the race, giving him a good tow down the Mistral Straight and allowing him round. So that Racing Point team is a tasty looking team there. I think they can go a long way this season in this fight for the Constructors' Championship. But you've got so many teams that look really strong, don't you, because of how strong this Drivers' Championship is. So it'd be interesting to see how they go on. I think Mercedes can go well, but I think Sam Pito needs to step his game up. You can always expect the likes of the Williams team to get in and thereabouts. Scott Bugner and Harry always seem to be there or thereabouts. If Scott can just maybe cut some of those penalties out, then he can potentially help his Williams teammate get constructors as well. So yeah, this so many battles, not only within the Drivers' Championship but within this Constructors' Championship at the moment. It's very hard to predict where this is going to go. But if you're talking Drivers' Championship, you can't really, at the moment, still look past Gamer, despite him only, by his standards, only coming in second place to Harry last week. You know how consistent he is. He will always, 9 times out of 10, you always see him either on a podium or winning a race or getting a pole position. So it's up to those guys, like Harry, KJ, and Cliffy, or anybody else who can possibly step up, like Just Asas or Sambam Kid, and try and give it to Gamer, because while ever he's on this form, this great form he's on, it's just so difficult to see how he's going to be beaten. And just based on what we've just seen right now, I have to say he's got to be going into this the favourite once again, and you have to possibly look at that going into future races as well. But like I just said, it's up to these guys now to step it up another notch and try and really give it to him. But qualifying was tight, wasn't it? And they proved that they can pretty much match Gamer on qualifying pace. So it'd be interesting to see if they can match him on race pace as well, and not let him stretch his legs out like he just did.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we get ready to go back to the circuit and kick off a much later evening race, so maybe a little bit extended on. And what I'll do, guys, just for you is after this race has been rendered and is back ready to be watched live, I will put a caption to pop up after the end of qualifying at what time you can skip forward to get to the start of the race. So you don't have to watch for all this fluff if you don't want to. Of course, I don't know why you wouldn't want to listen to Sab and I's sultry voices on a Monday evening. So But yeah, if you'd want to skip through, we will leave a timestamp on the video for you to jump through directly to it, just for your viewing pleasure. But we are loading back into the Red Bull Ring here at Spielberg in Austria. A circuit that I'd love to visit, actually. Very, very beautiful circuit, just plonked into the middle of the Austrian hillside, and it is a lovely, lovely looking circuit in the sunshine. We saw both in real life that when it rains, it really comes down, but so it's a bit of a shame that we're not seeing the rain here. Of course, it will be set to overcast, which is what we saw first time around. However, Xbox did suffer the wrath of the rain gods last night, so if you want to check in with that video has now been uploaded to the YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch the IRL F1 XBOX League as they completed their second round of the season at Austria. This will be the second and only chance, so if anyone drops out, unfortunately that will be it. We cannot restart again, so it is a second time round, second time only for these drivers. Hopefully no one else sees any connection issues, and hopefully, equally sad, we get to go racing again all at the same speed and not everyone starting off possibly 2 seconds earlier than everyone else.
Yeah, hopefully so, because as a commentator, it's very confusing to see all these time penalties, everything flashing up, and the drivers' positionings all over the place. So fingers crossed we can get going. The weather conditions are all the same again, nice and gloomy how we had it earlier, and hopefully we're just moments away from a proper race this time. No connection issues, like you say. No penalties, daft penalties given out, and we can get the race we've been wanting, because qualifying really, it teased us, didn't it, to what we can expect in the race, and we got the race and it went all a bit pear-shaped. So fingers crossed everything now works out okay and we can finally get underway. But just going back to what you were saying, why wouldn't people want to listen to us talking and rambling on? Why would people want to skip through that? But we're just moments away. We're just waiting for them to ready up now. Yeah, I'm struggling with what else to talk about, to be honest, Gareth. We've pretty much covered the first race and this qualifying, so yeah, I honestly don't know what else to say, really, apart from I wish we can get underway as soon as possible.
Well, on to the karaoke then. I think that was the last thing left on the list, wasn't it? So yeah, if you'd like to kick us off and take us around the formation lap, but yeah, no, it's it is going to be the second round of the season here, the IRL F1 PS4 League here at Invictus Racing League. Of course, you can get in touch with us by going to invictusracingleague.com. Watch out for the brand new website coming very, very soon. I've seen a sneak peek of it and it looks very, very fresh with a PHR. But nice. Yeah, it's going to be a very nice, very decent update to what we currently offer. And of course, you can go to the socials, Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram to be updated on everything going on around the league, and equally get all the stats, photo albums, highlights, and all that stuff that comes out from our wonderful community members, and equally exquisite admin team that do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. In this much expanded league, of course, we went from 4 leagues last season to 8 this time around, so yeah, plenty of work has been added, and we are now going to another formation lap, and we've done this already, so we've got a little bit of deja vu. Hopefully this one goes right this time around, and I'm sure if you're KJL Tink, you will be delighted. It looks as though we have still got everyone's been good and has selected the tyres that they started the first one on, so no one is trying to get away with sweet murder there by perhaps even altering their strategy up somewhat on what will everyone be on fresh tyres. So yeah, it will be CRG Gamer on pole with KJL Tink in second place, Cliffy in third with Harry in fourth, TL44S alongside Sam in sixth, Warrior Slander and Scott seventh aim for Jakob and Just Ace rounding out row 5 in 9th and 10th. Rymac and Sam in row 6 with Arbez and Scopefielder. Nathan and Burmeister. Unfortunately, Foxy Red has decided to drop from the session due to his connection issues. So we unfortunately lose Foxy, which is a real shame because he's definitely a driver to watch out for in the races. But he will, I'm sure, be heading back to head back to the pub to possibly fill up again and get himself ready up for next week as we head off. Well, a sort of slightly different location compared to Austria. And looking forward to next week's race, we are of course heading over to Zandvoort for the first time ever. It's going to be a tricky race. Of course, it'll be the home race for KJ Eltink and Burnmeister and Warislander, so they'll be eyeing that one up. The first ever visit on a PS4 to Zandvoort in any of our leagues. So make sure you tune in for that one next Monday night. But for tonight, for now, all that stuff, we are focusing firmly on this one. And there you can see the pit stop window is extended somewhat with the fresh tyres, so the softs will go to lap 15 to 17 onto the mediums, a little bit earlier if you want to go on to the hards. But now CRG Gamer will line up on pole position with KJ Eltic in second position. We're getting ready to take the lights and send us up to turn 1, that quick 185 metre long stretch. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights on, pause, lights off, and off they go up towards turn 1. It's a good start from KJ. He's once again going to send it to the inside. Gets up into the lead of the race. Behind is going to be a sweep to the inside for one of the Haas. And the Haas goes around.
Whoa.
Behind we've got contact with one of the Williams. That looks as though that might be Scott Bugner that's gone around. He's taken one of the Haas's with him. So it looks as though the Haas of Sambam Kid tried to go to the inside of Harry. Contact between the two and straight into the path of the second Williams. We're yellow at the first corner. But it looks as though everyone else has managed to get away just about scot-free. But CRG Gamer jumped by KJ once again at turn 1.
Fantastic start for Gamer, and Harry sending it up the inside at turn 1 on Cliffy, and just about held on there, but Cliffy almost took Harry out coming back onto the track. Harry hanging on there, and both Williams cars having a bit of job, but unfortunately for Scott, it's even worse for him, and he's now down in 15th place with Sambam Kid not far behind. But superb start, like you say, for KJ, and this is exactly what he wanted to do. And this is going to be interesting now, isn't it? CRG Gamer is now going to have to work for this win. He knows KJ is quick, and so CRG Gamer is going to have to try and hang on to him, but it's already up to 0.8 of a second, the gap. So KJ will be wanting to try and build that bridge early on and not allow CRG Gamer to have any DRS when the DRS zone applies. And for me, again, I've got saying lap 3, so I'll have to just slightly ignore that.
Yep, so yeah, it is lap 2. We've just completed the first lap, but you can see it's currently still KJ Eltink leading from CRG Gamer. Harry back in third place. Cliffy and TL44S are behind in the racing points. Sam Pito had a good start. He's now chasing down Warislander behind, but you can see, ignore the blue flags, that's out for absolutely no one. Into the pit lane comes Sambam Kid, of course. He had the contact with Harry at the first corner, and that allowed him to, I believe, spin into the path of Scott. I'm sure we'll hear from both of them post-race. Behind, Harry is now starting to get hassled by Cliffy and TL44S for third place. So Harry is under threat from both racing points, and that's not what he wanted. He's lost his rear gunner. We saw Scott have a good start in the first start, but unfortunately this time around it's not gone as well for him. Up at the front though, CRG Gamer has now closed in on KJ, and he's going to get a run on him on the exit of turn 1. Does he get into the toe going up into turn 2 though? As you can see, he's not quite closing in enough to get a move done into the braking zone. But you can see Gamer starting to get back up to speed now. But KJ, I'm sure, will have his elbows firmly out.
He will, but Gamer now has DRS. What can Gamer do down into this braking zone? Unfortunately for Gamer, not quite close enough, and KJ is going to be under severe threat now, isn't he? KJ is going to have to work his socks off, but this I've just noticed is Cliffy has got past Harry, so Cliffy now up into third. I was just about to say this is an opportunity for maybe Harry to get onto the back of this fight pack, but no, Harry has lost that position. He's down to 4th place with Cliffy now getting his position back. So Cliffy back into third place, and now Cliffy will be hoping to try and reel in this battle at the front, but already Cliffy is 2.7 seconds behind his fighting pack at the front, so Cliffy's got some work to do if he's going to fight these two for the front.
Yeah, it definitely looks as though we might see the top 2 check out at the front, almost 3 seconds already as they start lap 3. Schofield already picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and so does Ryan. He's down in 10th position, so inside the points at the moment. But we are still on board here with Samuel Fritto as he closes in on Warislander. But this battle is all the way up to Harry. So it's Harry and Cliffy battling over 3rd and 4th position currently, as Harry's got a nice run on the racing point down towards the hairpin. They're really starting to hemorrhage time at the moment, but behind you can see Harry's got TL44S, just like Mac, all with him, so the top 10 all within a couple of seconds of each other.
It's not a bad start for Sam. He's gone up 3 places. He's into the top 10 now, in 9th place now. He's keeping Warwickslander honest, and at the moment he's got a good opportunity to maybe get into the top 5. Sam here is TL4 for us. Unfortunately for TL4 for us, he's picked up an early 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That'll maybe cost him later on, but at the moment you've got all this gaggle of cars behind Harry at the moment, all giving each other a nice DRS tow. So Harry at the moment is a bit of a DRS train at the minute, as we see Just Asas now trying to make a move on TL4 for us, but Just Asas is not quite close enough, and at the moment this DRS train, they're just nullifying each other, aren't they, somewhat, and nobody really able to make any moves on each other. So at the moment Harry hanging on in there in 4th, trying to keep Cliffy honest, but the problem is Harry's got the likes of TL4 for us and Just Asas putting the pressure on him as well.
A huge moment for CRG Gamer entering turn 1. Almost lost the back end, just put the power down too early. Was looking as though he was going to be spearing off towards the Armco barrier on the inside right, but managed to collect himself and stayed on the pace. So a credit to him. He's done a great job at staying with KJ, and he's still within just over half a second of the AlphaTauri. He's going to have, of course, DRS aided down towards turn 1, so this battle will be reset. We'll see if he has the same thing. He went far too aggressive into turn 1 last time round, much more cautious this time, and he's just about stayed under that half-second mark, which means by the time he gets to the hill he will have an opportunity of going to the inside. Does he think about it? Not quite close enough this time. Behind Harry is going to close in on Cliffy. There's been a change between TL44S and Just Asas for 5th and 6th position, so last week's podium man in 3rd place, Just Asas, the Lithuanian, has now made his way out past the racing point into 5th.
Warwickslander is somewhat struggling now in that Red Bull, and he's fallen away from that pack as Sam just behind makes a move on Jakob. It's a nice move there from Sam, just a little kiss between the Mercedes and the Renault, but Sam gets the move done cleanly. And I was just saying, Warwickslander falling away from the pack ahead now, 1.7 seconds behind TL4 for us. So Warwickslander will have the Mercedes driver Sam now behind him, and Warwickslander looking like he's not enjoying this moment of the race so far, as he's starting to fall into the clutches of like Sam, Jakob, and even Rimac is in the other Renault is just hanging on in there in 10th place.
Battles, as you say, that DRS train will really start to affect several of these drivers as KJ goes slightly defensive there in towards turn 2 at Remus curb, and he just about holds off Gamer, pulls to the inside line. He's going to try and break the toe going down this back straight, but Gamer's got a nice run on him going down towards the hairpin. He's not going to be quite close enough to send it just yet, but you can see KJ braking a lot earlier, and is catching out Gamer, who's having to stamp on the brakes. He's taking some real locking into that right-hander. It's going to take a little bit of life out of those soft tyres. Of course, they are on fresh tyres with that lobby reset, so they can push a little bit harder compared to what they could have done first time around. But Gamer will just be trying to find out where his rival's weaknesses are on circuit. It seems down into that hairpin at turn 4 is the ideal one, as he gets a run out of the final corner. Not quite close enough to get alongside this time around. Behind, Cliffy now really starting to close in on Harry. Those two have swapped positions again, with Harry back up into 3rd. Cliffy now dropping back down into 4th, but you can see the racing point's going to come out of the first corner with a really nice run on the Williams. Will Harry deploy some of that energy to defend? It looks as though he's done a little bit, but not enough, as Cliffy's going to go up the inside. He's going to be followed by Just Asas, and Just Asas is going to try and take it 3 wide into turn 3, and in fact they've both got him. Harry's going to try and go 3 wide on the exit, so we've got a 3 wide battle going down the back straight. Harry has got the inside line. Just Asas is going to pull into the toe of Harry. He's going to try and get past Cliffy and go around the outside as there's contact between the Haas and the racing point. This is inviting TL44S into the party. Here comes Just Asas trying to go around the outside of the Williams into the infield section. Can he hang it around the outside? Will Harry show him the door? As he should do, he does, so holds on to the position. But yeah, that was a bit firm from Just Asas, but managing to hold on to onto 4th position just ahead of Cliffy, as Jakob picks up 3 seconds.
what a battle we've got brewing here between. Oh, as Cliffy just tags the back of Just Aces, but Just Aces just managed to hold on to that car. So yeah, this is turning into a nice battle, and TL4 Forest is coming in on this, and this is also allowed Warrislander, I just mentioned a few laps ago, falling away. This has allowed Warrislander to get in on this now. So you've got 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th all on one stretch of road right now, all fight for this 3rd place. So at the moment it's looking like a real battle for that final pole position, because CLG Gamer and KJ now 6.3 seconds up the road already on lap 9. So yeah, at the moment just Asas, he's looking really good, isn't he? Oh, I thought he was going to run into the back of the Harry there, locked the front right and just about kept on track, but Cliffy unable to capitalise on that. Just Asas is looking very feisty, isn't he, in this first 2 races of the season?
Yeah, absolutely so, and he's really starting to hassle, well, and has been hassling several of his other rivals out on circuit. So, but Harry, if you're Harry, you've got to drive like a go-karter right now. You've got to just focus on what's happening ahead of you, because behind he's going to have a flying Just Asas, and you can see that Haas is going to get a run down towards turn 1. But if Harry keeps on looking in his mirrors, he's going to start losing time hand over fist. So you can see, just let the guys behind fight between themselves and try and get on with your own race and get into a rhythm. You can see he's trying to break the toe a little bit there of Just Asas, who looks as though he might have expended a lot of energy trying to get the move done on the 2 racing points earlier on. He might be having to recover. You can see that red flashing LED light on the rear of that car as Harry recovers some energy down this back straight, and that's going to open the door for Just Asas in towards turn 4. He's taking it far too deep though. Is he been able to get the exit speed? Not quite. He went very, very fast into the apex there, and Harry just calmly back with the undercut and swept around the inside, and we're back as we were.
Just Asas, I thought he was going straight into the gravel trap there. He did well to keep that on the track, and Harry said thank you very much and went back through again. But I'm sure Just Asas is not going to give up on this 3rd place at the moment. Harry's going to go under severe threat once again, and this must be an absolute nightmare for Harry right now. He's not got any DRS to defend. All he's going to get is to use his energy recovery systems to try and help up this straight to defend from the DRS. Oh, it's Just Asas are right on board with Just Asas, all out of shape there, Just Asas, and that's going to possibly give Cliffy an opportunity to have an attack here. But Just Asas has also got DRSs. Can Just Asas go round the outside? Harry nicely into the corner there, unable to allow Just Asas through. But once again, we're going to have a repeat here. Can Just Asas get it done properly this time? Harry going into the inside to try and defend. He's going to force Just Asas round the outside. A lock up again for Just Asas. Can he get the move done now? He's side by side with Harry. This is great battling. Harry's not giving up, but now Harry's going to have to yield, and on the outside Harry has to yield, and now drops down to 4th. So it'll be shortly an opportunity now for oh, it's Cliffy. Cliffy has lost it behind Harry. Cliffy's into the gravel pit there, and unfortunately Cliffy got onto the curbs, and Cliffy was, oh wow, that was a bit dangerous there from Cliffy. Cliffy just lost it on the curbs there. The car went on from underneath him. Unfortunately, Cliffy has dropped him down to 15th place there, and that's allowed his teammate TL4 Forest to get ahead and now try and attack Harry in 4th.
Shame for the Racing Point, who was looking very strong early in this one, but that has relieved a little bit of the pressure for Harry for the time being. But it's now he's going to be seeing double. However, as the second of the Racing Points now is in his mirrors, as Sam picks up another 3-second penalty. So Sam Babkid, currently circulating in the back after that spin on the first corner, is unfortunately not enjoying himself. We've still got this battle at the front. It's still 3/10 of a second. Gamer just kind of sitting behind KJ, just watching, biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity. And you've got to think they've now stretched out over a 7.5-second lead over Just Asas, and yeah, that battle between Just Asas and Harry has brought in what now TL4 Warrislander, Sam Pito, and it was into the box comes Gamer. So the undercut is now on for the Mercedes team. Can they get him in and out? And onto the hard tyres goes the Mercedes. So he's come in right as the window opened, and he's going to drop out into traffic. Will he get out with enough clear space? It's going to come out behind that gaggle of cars you can see flying past him. It's going to be rear-ended by Scopefielder. but will he have enough clear air to put down a fast out lap? Because you've got to think that KJ is going to be in this lap and trying to negate that undercut.
It's worked out quite nice, I think, for Gamer there. He managed to get out ahead of Scott Bugner, and he's got... Oh, he nearly lost it there on those hard tyres. Those hard tyres not up to temperature yet. He just a bit of understeer there. I thought Gamer had lost the car there, so lost a bit of time there. He's got quite a few cars ahead of him, but I imagine with that gap at the moment, he'll be able to really put the hammer down. But KJ now, he's got to come into the pits to cover off, and he hasn't. KJ hasn't come into the pits, so is KJ going for longer and maybe looking at a set of mediums in this race? So KJ's still going. Can this potentially have cost KJ the win?
Into the pit lane comes Harry and Just Asa, so Harry not allowing the Haas ahead to get the undercut on him. Also coming into the pits is Rimac, who had a strong start. He was currently running in a net 8th position as Warris picks up a 3-second time penalty there. We just went on board of him on the exit at turn 1. He's now got Sam once again, who's not been able to get past the Dutchman, and they're closing in on the racing point. 13 laps so far the soft runners have done. Of course, they can take them up to about lap 15 to lap 17 according, of course, to the chart. But we know, according to one of our wonderful admins, Reshko, who said that the optimum time or the real maximum time that you can do softs is 16 laps. So that's when those tyres will start to fall off the side of not even a cliff. It's going to feel like a 38,000 foot drop off the edge of a 38 of an Airbus A380. But that's where the tyres are going to be. But we'll see. Into the box now comes KJ. So he extended by 1 lap. Now where is this going to allow us? Into the box comes Samuel Pepito and TL44S. But the fight's now on for CRG Gamer. He's now exiting the final corner. You've got to think that he is going to take this easily. Was into the pit lane and rolling out is KJ, and Gamer is already at turn 1. So that jump has been done, and there you go. Out of the pit lane comes KJ Eltink, and he can see he's lost that position. So that 1 lap extension has cost him the lead, but he's onto the mediums, so a different tyre compound to Gamer. So the tactical fight is now on.
It really is, and KJ, I think he's got to look after these tyres a bit more than what Gamer has on those hard tyres. So KJ doesn't want to take the life out of these too early on, does he, to try and catch up with Gamer? And the problem KJ's got now is, because Gamer is fighting his way through this gaggle of cars, these cars don't have to move over. They're not being lapped, so these guys can fight for position. So the problem for KJ now is he's not only got to try and get through this pack of cars, he's also got to try and get his foot down to try and catch up Game as well. So this is double the headache really for KJ now, because you imagine he's going to be taking quite a bit of life out of those sides. He's got a bit of luck there because Scopefielder has come into pit, so he didn't really have to do anything about that. So the moment KJ's next target is Gamer. Gamer hasn't managed to get past Arbis yet, which will be a bit of a relief for KJ, because that time has already come down to 9/10 of a second. So the moment KJ does still have a stronger opportunity to catch up Gamer, but Gamer, as you can see there, is making his way through his... Oh dear, I thought Gamer had lost a bit of his front wing then, and just about missed that Burmaster's Red Bull rear wing there. And here we go, Gamer now carving his way through the field quite nicely there, and he gets past the Red Bull, albeit a little bit deep, but does get past them. Now it's up to KJ to try and work his way through as he's side by side with the Ferrari.
Yep, so KJ gets past the Ferrari, so he's not letting CRG get away at all. He's now only got the gap between himself and CRG Gamer with Burmaster in the middle. So he's brought it down to 1 car's gap between the pair, and as Rymat picks up 3 seconds, he's down in 12th position. He went onto the hard tyres. Jakob onto a fresh set of the soft tyres, so a split strategy there for the 2 Renaults, as KJ going side by side with one of the Red Bulls into turn 1. He's just about got away with it. There was contact between the pair of them. Burmeister is not one to argue with when it comes to a fight. He is well up for it. He will be fighting for position. He knows that behind him he's got Arbiz, who's on the same strategy, and equally Nathan up ahead of him. So Burmeister just about gave enough room to the AlphaTauri there. So as Gamer gets past Nathan. Oh, it's a little bit of contact as Sam retires from the race. So he was unfortunately circulating on his own after that spin early on. So he's called it early as we come around to the 50% mark in this one. Now, I was watching a video that Gamer had put up this week, and he'd been talking about his racing so far, and he says that one of the things he tends to do and he needs to get a handle of is overusing ERS. And a circuit like here is a circuit where ERS is critical. You obviously use it to attack and defend, but it's very hard to recover it. But we'll go on board with him. We see he's just about got a third of it left over, so he's not got too much to defend from KJ Eltic, who will be on the currently more optimum tyre at the moment. But of course, it will fall away from him later on in this race. But if you're Gamer, you don't want to use too much of that ARS because he's going to want to keep KJ behind as long as possible.
It really is. And talking of keeping behind, Harry is under immense pressure right now to hold on to 7th place. Harry coming out on the hard tyre, TL4 for us on the medium tyre, with Sam on the medium tyre as well, and Warrislander on the medium tyre, all putting pressure on Harry, and Harry doing his damnedest to try and hold his position, but TL4 for us is sending it one up the inside now. He runs a little deep, but should just about hold on to it if he can keep Harry on the outside. Harry's trying to come back at TL4 for us, but Harry, if TL4 for us can just stick it out, we'll have to force Harry wide, and Harry does yield the position. And next up for Harry, unfortunately for him, will be Sam to attack on the medium tyre. So at the moment, this hard tyre not working for Harry at all. Is now Sam trying to send one up the inside of Harry. Second to last corner, this will be brave. They're side by side going towards the final corner. Sam gets the move done in the space of 2-3 corners. Harry's lost 2 positions.
Yeah, if I was Sam, I would think that was not the smartest of moves, because what he's going to do now is just give Harry. As Harry loses it on the exit of turn 1, I was just about to say he's going to give Harry free DRS up the hill and equally into turn 3. But yeah, Sam I think was given the space by Harry. I thought Harry saw him coming, and Sam will think that he deserved the space. But I probably wouldn't have given him any there, because it's not really a corner that you often find overtaking on due to the speed that you carry, as Warrislander locks up into turn 4. But yeah, as you say, Harry now relegated down into 10th position. He's on those hard tyres though, so we've got a lot of split strategies, both Harry and CRG Gamer going for the hard tyres, so they will be able to use a little bit less tyre life and wait until the end of the race, when you've got to think these mediums will be starting to really start to feel that pain.
Yeah, definitely. And just looking back for the fight for the lead, it's now 0.3 of a second between KJ and Gamer. Gamer was the one putting the pressure on KJ in the early stages of this race. Now it's KJ's turn on those medium tyres. He's not going to be close enough with this DRS zone, so under braking he gets it nicely done there, and now here's an opportunity now for KJ to retake the lead. But Gamer's got out of that corner nicely, and I don't think, no, KJ's not going to be close enough. So at the moment, Gamer's making these hard tyres work for him, and KJ's having to put some real effort in. And you'd imagine the longer Gamer stays out there on that hard tyre, it's going to force KJ, isn't it, to use those medium tyres harder and maybe take more life out of them.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, just looking there at KJ, and he's got almost full battery in that AlphaTauri machine, so he's going to have plenty of time to use it. We're on lap 20 of 36 here, and is it going to be a spin for Arbeez? There is on the final corner. Now that's going to be right into the racing line as cars come around the final corner. Will he be able to get it? No, there's contact, and there's Sam and Arbeez that make contact into the final corner as Arbeez tried to turn the car around. That was always going to happen. He was in such a tricky position, and unfortunately it's Arbeez that gets absolutely clattered by one of, I couldn't see who it was it even Scott that possibly had hit him into the final corner? It was someone that came around the final corner. It might be Scott. Safety you can see he's going slow, but yeah, we're now onto safety car, and yeah, that was a guaranteed happen there. As you can see, Scott trying to race the safety car out. He doesn't want to get caught behind it, but yeah. Oh, what a shame there for Arbeez. He was running well. Unfortunately, just lost it coming into the second to last corner, and I can't see who he collected. I'll have to go through and see who's got some damage, because it was a considerable hit. It looked as though it was one of the Mercedes, but it looks as though I can't actually see anyone with any particular damage. But yeah, big hit for Arbeez.
it was a big hit, and whoever, I didn't quite see who hit him, but whoever hit him got off lightly, really, because you'd imagine with Arby's being retired from the session, whoever hit him would have probably retired as well. But if you look forward, Gamer and KJ have both pitted. Now, interestingly, Gamer has thrown on a set of soft tyres. Soft tyres for Gamer. KJ is also... Gamer... No, KJ's put a set of mediums back on. So this is fascinating now. So the split strategy has gone the other way now. It was KJ on the faster tyre. Now KJ is on the slower tyre. A Gamer with, 14 laps left of the race is on the soft tyre.
Well, as you say, the split strategy has gone the complete opposite direction. Now, this is fascinating. I love it when drivers do this. You can see it had only been a few laps that KJ had been on those mediums for, and he's come on for a fresh set. Perhaps he didn't have a fresh set of the softs left over. You've got to think he would do with qualifying being null and voided. But yeah, he's decided to be a bit more conservative and have mediums. Of course, we're going to be under safety car. You've got to think for at least another lap or two. But yeah, a bold move there from Gamer. Who else has gone for the soft tyres? Well, Nathan, Burmeister, Sam, Harry, who's really lost out due to that safety car because it's allowed everyone that was ahead of him that hadn't maybe made their stop yet make their stop. So the likes of TL4S, he didn't come in, but Nathan, who's really rocketed up with Burmeister. So those two, that was a perfect time for them. Of course, they hadn't made their stop off the mediums. They are now in 6th and 7th, but Harry has really lost out. He's now in 11th position. Cliffy equally down in 12th place. Rymac and Scott equally outside of the top 10. But yeah, it is game well and truly on. Just Asas leads this one on circuit. He's going to go to the end on those medium tyres. You've got to think CRG Gamer behind will be very, very quick. The Mercedes, the reigning IRL F1 champion, he's on fresh softs. His race contender that they've been battling all race long is KJL Tink 7. He's back in 4th behind Warrislander. Warrislander, much like Just Asas, you've got to think is going to the end. Then Til4S, Nathan Burmeister, Jakob, Sam and Scopefield are rounding out the top 10. Oh, well, if you've stuck around all evening, you're in for a treat as this one finishes up with possibly a 12 lap sprint to the end on fresh tyres. And we do thank you for sticking with us. And yeah, let us know if you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed listening to Sab and I cover some content in the middle when we were in between sessions. And equally, if you can like the video, if you've enjoyed it, of course, then it helps us out massively. It really, really does. The safety car is in this lap. Yep, if you like the video, it makes sure that we can push it through to non-subscribers and new viewers, and it helps us grow the league. But Just Asas will now let the safety car disappear up the road, and he will look to get the race restarted behind. Now watch out, everyone, don't come into unnecessary contact with anyone else in front or behind you. This is the last place you want to be for any sort of contact, because you although you will come up to the pit lane very, very shortly, you'll fall right to the back of the pack with everyone bunched up. And now off he goes. Just as that launches out into Jochen Rindt curb, the penultimate corner, and he will get us restarted. But right on his tail immediately will be CLG Gamer. And you've got to think on those soft tyres, it's only a matter of time before he gets past Warrislander and KJ are side by side into turn 1. And already KJ's found his way back up into 3rd place and can get back on the pace. But here comes CLG Gamer right in the toe of the Haas as they go up towards turn 3. But you can see Just Asas using some ERS, and he's protecting that lead that he's currently got. Of course, everyone is now battling for position. So if you're CLG Gamer, you're going to want to clear this Haas as soon as possible, because KJ is on a warpath.
He really is. Jakob all out of shape there, turn 3, and he's going to lose another position here. He just lost a position, Scopefield there, and now Harry has got a position back. So Harry back into push. You talk of Harry, it's been a disaster for Harry, and he's on those soft tyres now. He'll be hoping to try and claw some positions back. He's in space of 2 corners. He's made up 2 places. He's now overtaken Scopefield. So next on the radar for Harry is Sam in the Mercedes. But further ahead, CRG Gamer really now putting the pressure on Just Asas, isn't he? Going into that final corner, he's pretty much pushing that Haas around the corner down this start-finish straight. You know, it's a matter of when, not if, this Mercedes with these brand new set of soft tyres is going to get past that Haas on 10 lap medium tyres now, but KJ is trying his hardest to catch up with Gamer, but 6/10 of a second on medium tyres. You imagine it's going to be a bit difficult now, so there you go. CRG Gamer appeals to the left-hand side of Just Aces. Just Aces has no chance really, does he? And Gamer now back into the lead.
And here comes KJ, so KJ on Just Aces, and of course Just Aces, who finished on the podium in France just 1 week ago, he's currently on it as well. But watch out for TTG Nathan. He's in a very handy 4th position after battling in the bottom end of the top 10 earlier in this one. That safety car worked perfectly for him, and Burmeister and Burrs actually dropped back to 7th position. But Nathan looking very racy, staying right on the rear end of the AlphaTauri. But yeah, 3 seconds there, pop up for Sam Pito. He's now in 9th position, chasing down. He's been passed by Harry, so Harry getting the job back on the Mercedes. But Gamer does a 1:04.7, so that's the fastest lap of the race here. He's now stretched already a 1.7 second gap over Just Aces. So KJ is going to need to clear the Haas as soon as possible. You're going to think he's going to be using up as much as possible with that electrical battery towards turn 3, but defensive there for Boys. He's going to go deep into turn 3, just about manages to miss the rear diffuser of the Haas ahead, and KJ is going to reset down towards turn 4. Here we go, the afterburners are on. He's going to peel to the inside. You've got to think he's going to make the move. Is he going to slow down in time? There's just about enough room between the two. It's a cigarette paper's width between the two tyres of the AlphaTauri and the Haas, but Just Aces relinquishes the position. KJ Elting now up into 2nd position, and now TTG Nathan is all over the back of the Haas.
2.1 seconds though, KJ now, and you'd think with 10 laps left of this race, it's going to be a hell of a task for KJ to catch up with Gamer. Gamer has pulled a blinder here, putting on those soft tyres, and I think there's been a bit of wrong strategy calls down in the AlphaTauri, but I'm just keeping an eye on Harry. Harry is on the warpath now. He's working his way through the field, and now he's putting the pressure on Burmeister. Burmeister's struggling to get past TL4 who's on those 11-lap-old medium tyres. As TTG Nathan up into 3rd place now. What a race this has been for him so far, and TTG Nathan putting the pressure on KJ now, but just looking further back, Harry still can't get past Burmeister, and Burmeister on newer soft tyres can't get past the racing point of TL4 and TL4 hanging in nicely there in 6th place.
Scopefielder and Sam Pito are going to go side by side into the hairpin. Scopefielder gets the move done. He's going to open the door for Cliffy to try and sweep down the inside of Sam, but not getting the job done there. Petit, it was like a swarm of bees behind Harry as he looked in his mirrors and saw the likes of Scopefielder. And I was just about to say to you that CLG Gamer picked up a 3-second penalty. KJ mirrors him. So yeah, 2 penalties for the top 2 runners there. So yeah, I was just about to mention at the end of that sentence that Gamer had picked up a penalty, but KJ, unfortunately, has now found himself in the same situation. But Nathan is really starting to put the pressure on KJ now for 2nd position. Of course, he's on those soft tyres that will help him in this early phase of this soft stint. Of course, they'll go off later in the stint, which is going to bring the race back towards KJ, because that gap now between himself and Gamer is now up 2.7 seconds. Rymack and Jakob swap position down in 12th and 13th position. We'll try and find, as Cliffy's into the box, so possibly wing damage for Racing Point, and unfortunately for him, his race has not gone to plan whatsoever. And he's now out of the points once again. But yeah, I'll try and catch up with as many different drivers as possible. We'll just try and see what we can we'll find with battles throughout the field. Of course, that's what you usually get at Austria's Scope and Scott side by side through a couple of bits. And there they go into shot, and they're still side by side. In fact, Scott and Scope have raced together for several seasons, and will anyone give anyone else any quarters? No, Scott's going to relinquish the position. Scopefielder holds on to 10th position. Now Harry, who's got past Burmeister, is now closing in on TL44S and the Warriorslander. Will he let slow down for turn 1? Has to back out a little bit there, but Harry, as you say, really pushing hard. He knows that he needs to close in and reel some points back in, because Gamer is starting to stretch his legs at the front of this one.
He really is, and Harry was, Harry, send it, he's send it, just about I think TL4 seen him coming and took avoiding action, but Harry sent it very, very late there, and this is a bit of desperation for Harry. He knows he needs to get the positions done, but he doesn't want to get any damage.
Sorry, that's going to be huge contact there. That was Burmeister, I think, going too hot. He was side by side with Samuel Pepito down, and I think he clattered the side of one of the other cars. It may have been one of the racing, maybe one of the racing points, but yes, there's contact there between Scott Buckner and Sam Pepito, and Sam trying to go around the outside of Scott. That just isn't an overtaking position, my friend, and we've got Schofield around as well, so there's chaos in the third sector as Sam picks up a time penalty as well for his troubles. Just trying to make an overly bold move, and we've now got Scott Buckner closing in on Burmeister. It's starting to heat up with 6 laps left to go in this one.
And Jacob's just done a move on Scott Buckner. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. I think it's for a slow running car, but Jacob made a very bold move on Scott Buckner, and into turn 1 Jacob got the move done. Now it's Jacob to try and tackle Burmeister. TL4 has dropped right down with the yellow flag in sector 3 as well. I believe that's for a slow running car again, but Harry, I was just saying, Harry got a nice move done on Burmeister, and luckily for Harry, he got out of all that carnage quickly, but because now he's really putting the pressure on Warrislander for 5th place, and round the outside, can he make this move done on the Red Bull driver? What a move this will be for Harry on the newer tyres. Nicely done there from Harry. Gets the move done on Warrislander on those harder medium tyres. So next for Harry, if he can, is to try and catch up with the Haas driver of just ASTAS. 3.5 seconds up the road in 4th place.
Yeah, very much so. And in fact, Harry, no battery left in that Williams as Burr picks up a 3-second time penalty back in 9th place. But yeah, it was a little bit chaotic there in the midfield as everyone started to get a little bit hot under collar. It's a little bit late into the evening, everyone wanting to get to the checkered flag a little bit sooner than possible as Cliffy picks up 3 seconds. They've got a yellow in sector 3 once again. That might be the end of Scott's race. He's down in 12th position. He's coming into the box. He was involved in a little bit of contact earlier on, unfortunately for Scott. And there we go. It is another pointless week for him in IRL F1, and the Williams having to rely on Harry for points so far. And I'm sure his fans in the comments will not be too happy there with Scott. And I'm sure Scott will equally not be very happy at all with San Pepito possibly making a move that wasn't on around the outside of turn 7 into turn 8. And but up at the front, it's TTG Nathan closing in on KJ. This battle for second position is allowing Gamer to get up to a 3-second lead. Harry is not really making any inroads on Just Asas, even though Just Asas is on 17-lap-old mediums. Of course, with a lack of battery, Harry's going to have to save for a couple of laps and then really push, but you've got to think 3 seconds over the next few laps is going to be a hard ask for him to recover. Then we've got Burmeister and TL44S right behind Rimac, so Ryan in the Renault. Really good run for him so far, and the Scotsman in 7th position. This is some really good points for the Renault so far. He's going to want Jakob to start working his way through the 2 cars ahead and helping him as a little bit of a rear gunner, but a strong race so far for Rimac, who's managed to make his way through a little bit of this chaos.
Yeah, it is indeed. Rimac having a nice race there, and hopefully he can try and catch up to the back of Warsaw. I'm keeping an eye on TTG Nathan, and I don't believe he has any penalties, and with KJ Eltink currently sat on 3 seconds worth of time penalties, TTG Nathan, as long as he sticks with KJ Eltink, he's got a 2nd place here, as long as he doesn't pick up any penalties in the last 3 laps or so here. Just Asas isn't gaining on this battle for 3rd and 2nd places. Just Asas is just hanging on a bit there now in 4th place. Harry is starting to slowly reel in Just Asas in 5th place. It's down to 2.3 seconds. It was about 3.3 seconds a couple of laps ago. So Harry slowly starts reeling, but it may run out of time. It depends how many more laps Just Asas can get out of these medium times. With 18 laps now he's been on them. But so yeah, what a race it has been so far for TG Nathan. Now just 0.2 of a second behind KJ Elting hanging on in there, but Nathan is making his life a bit uncomfortable for these last few laps.
Yeah, absolutely so, and probably not what KJ wanted at all. He wanted to charge up to the back of Gamer, and of course on those medium tyres he's now got Nathan for company for second place. Of course, as you say, Gamer and KJ with 3-second time penalties, and Nathan will be eyeing up. The first podium on the season, but KJ gets a little bit of a better launch out the final corner. That's going to build him a gap going up the hill towards turn 2. But yeah, what a race we've had so far. Thanks everyone for joining us. It's great to have you on board for this one. Of course, if you enjoyed it, make sure you like that video, and of course go to the website invictusracingleague.com to find out more about IRL, and of course the socials: Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram. And yeah, it is a big help out if you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because of course we are on the road to 500 subscribers, and it will be a huge milestone for us in what has been a very short period of time that we've actually been streaming to YouTube. And we'll be bringing you more of this action from here at the Red Bull Ring throughout the week. Plenty more racing to come, the likes of IRL F2, 3 and 4, the Performance League, and of course XBOX F2 and the PC F1 League. So plenty more league racing through all 3 platforms, both PS4, Xbox and PC. And but tonight is the IRL F1 League with myself, Gareth and Sab, as TL44S picks up 3 seconds of time penalties, and equally there's Harry picking up 3 as well, so he's now closing on just Asas, as the gap's now only down to 1.3 seconds, so he is closing in on the Haas. But on the penultimate lap of this race, he gets a slight twitch of the back end and he's pushing hard. You've got to think of your Harry, he's desperately going to want to be clawing back some points, but just Asas, he's not going to be easy to pass, so even if he gets within that 1 second window.
Just looking now, KJ is gaining some time on Gamer. KJ has a 3 second time penalty, so does Gamer. Nathan isn't that far away from KJ Eltink here, and if Nathan can get the position done, Nathan could potentially win this race through penalties. So if Nathan can get a move done on KJ here, there's a potential race win here for Nathan. But are those soft tyres starting to hurt a bit, because he's fallen a bit away from KJ, and maybe the same is happening for Gamer as well, because the gap now is down to 2.2 seconds, 2.3 seconds, so Nathan losing a bit of time now, it's up to 1 second. So if Nathan can just find a bit more time on these soft tyres on his last lap, there's a potential for a race win for him here.
Yeah, absolutely so, as he just dips outside that DRS window, just sitting on the 1 second bubble. Jakob is still fighting out between himself and Burmeister for 9th place, but we're on the final lap of this one. It's been a long evening as Ryan picks up 3 seconds there on the final lap on the first corner, so let's see if that hurts him in this battle to hold on to some good points. But up ahead it is CRG Gamer leading the way. KJ Eltink is in 2nd position. We know that both the top 2 have a 3 second time penalty. We're not sure. We've seen so many flash up if TTG Nathan has one or not, so we will find out when they come up to the line. But it's just a few more corners to navigate for CRG Gamer 62 to take his first win on the season and add to that tally. And well, this win, if he manages to take it, will equal the all-time win record here at Invictus Racing League. Across the line, CRG Gamer is your winner here at IRL F1. Does he hold on to the position? Gamer he has jumped as he misses out by half a second. Nathan will be kicking himself. He just lost out the last, but what a race there from TCG Nathan in 2nd position. KJ is in 3rd, just Asas 4th. Harry can only recover to 5th. That penalty harming him in the late stages. Warrisander is in 6th. Jakob jumps up to 7th with Burmeister 8th. Rymack's penalty demotes him down to 9th with TL44S rounding out the points. Cliffy comes across the line, and Scopefielder, who sees his record for all-time wins equalled this evening, is your last runner and finisher a lap down. But there is driver of day, and that's exactly the man who I would have given it to. It is TTG Nathan. Superb race there for him. Used that safety car to absolute perfection. I'm sure, Sab, you're going to want to have a couple of words with what's some moves there from the IRL F1 reigning champion there as he makes his way to the podium. But yeah, what a race there from Gamer. He managed to get past KJ after the first start that didn't go his way. Of course, we already had this was a second go at the race after the first time round. We had a lobby reset, but yeah, controlled once again from the reigning champion, and he makes it 24 wins here in Invictus.
He does indeed, but I think he'll be breathing a huge sigh of relief there. I don't think he quite expected Nathan to be that close to him, but that safety car proving to be absolutely crucial for his race today, and he thoroughly deserves in the end to claim that second place racing. Absolutely huge congratulations to him. And KJ will be a little frustrated, I imagine. Hopefully we can get him in the commentary box for some questions and see what he has to say. But I imagine he'll be a little bit frustrated. He had an opportunity to stick on a set of hard tyres and ended up going for a set of mediums, and the tyres were slowly coming back to him in the end, but unfortunately just not quite enough, was it? So just as we wait for these guys to come into the commentary box, after we got going eventually and we had that safety car, it wasn't a bad race, was it, Gareth?
No, absolutely not. It was. It always is fun here. It's a fast, frenetic, crazy race. Everyone wants to find positions to get overtakes, but of course there is always potential for a shake-up, and Nathan was one of those drivers that really used that. 15th to second, and unfortunately misses out by half a second on the line. That just falling back from KJ and falling out of DRS on that last lap may be the reason why, but we will hopefully have all three in the party, and we'll be able to speak to them and find out how their race went. But of course, thank you everyone for joining us for the entirety of this one. It's been a long evening, and hopefully you've stuck with it, you've enjoyed it, and you've of course helped us out liking the video and sharing it, subscribing to the YouTube channel. It does the power of good to us, and it really helps us out pushing through to new subscribers so everyone can come and watch these brilliant races that I am able to cover with Sab every Monday night. Of course, racing on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and a Sunday here at Invictus on all three platforms. We've got Nathan and we've got Sam in here, just waiting for KJ. Hopefully the third place man can join us. Just to double check, as I'm sure Sam is just winding up some questions to fire over to you, just to make sure you've got your voices to allow to be shared in your party settings, just so everyone can hear what you're saying. Sab, we've currently got our race winner. Would you like to fire over some questions?
I sure will. We'll start off with our race winner. We got there in the end, Gamer. We had that safety car period as well, and you throwing on that set of soft tyres. Looks like in there that soft tyres was the best strategy to go with. How was the race for you? And did you think towards the end Elton could come at you on those medium tyres, or did you have him covered off?
Well, first of all, I didn't expect KJ to go on the mediums. I didn't think that strategy was going to be possible, but I guess with the restart, we had fresher tyres, so it'd have been interesting to see if he could have took them to the end or not. But anyway, with the safety car, I thought I had a good enough buffer to the cars behind, and it was just about able to get the softs to the end, so I did that. And yeah, it was kind of nice to have Warris in between me and KJ to allow me to pull away a bit, otherwise it could have been a different story, but yeah, I expected KJ to come back at the end on the mediums, and at the time he didn't have a penalty, so I was sort of hoping he would have, otherwise I don't think I would have won. But again, like the last 3 or 4 laps, I kept seeing Nathan's delta to me. It's like 3.4, 3.5. I knew he didn't have a penalty. I was hoping so much that it didn't come below the 3 seconds, but he didn't, thankfully. So that was a really good race.
I was going to say, that was leading on to my second question. It was I was going to ask you, was you aware Nathan didn't have a penalty, but you've just answered that. Nathan also so very close. You must have, I don't think you quite realised how close it was in the end, but a race win nonetheless for yourself. So starting off the season with a first and second, you must be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely had to fight for it, that's for sure. I mean, before we restarted the lobby, I was like, oh, I've got a nice lead here. Be a good race. And then we restarted. Don't know what happened in the first corner, but yeah, it was a great race. KJ very quick, obviously. Yeah, I don't know what to say other than it was really enjoyable, but it was also really challenging at the same time. So I'm really happy to actually come along with the win. Hopefully next time we could try again.
Well, congratulations, mate. Anyway, it was a well-deserved race win in the end for you. And I just want to welcome TTG Nathan66 in the box with us. What a race it turned out to be for you. It was a struggling race to start off with, by the looks of it. You were fighting towards the latter stages of the grid, but when that safety car come out, it worked out absolutely superb for you. And to bolt on a set of soft tyres and really push KJ in there. And how was that race for you? And how does it feel to be a podium sitter after the second race here?
Yeah, it's quite amazing actually. Was not expecting it at all, especially when I was starting P15. But yeah, safety car saved me and had a good first stint. And then on the soft tires, I quickly made the overtake so I could keep up with the guys in front. But yeah, unfortunately, couldn't get the win on the penalties. But yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I can imagine you are. You was very, very close to getting that win, but I imagine at the start of the night you would have snapped somebody's hand off to claim a second place. So you got the driver of the day as well. So huge congratulations for yourself. That was absolutely stellar driving in the end. That safety car proved you absolutely superb for you. And Gareth, just going back to you, that was absolutely superb. And I have to say, it's great to see someone like Nathan Eni taking advantage of that safety car period and claiming what looked like early stages a very unlikely podium, but well deserved in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like you say, we were discussing it before the race started. It's always good to see new drivers on the podium. So we do welcome Nathan, and hopefully we'll see you back a couple of times this season. With drives like that, you will deserve it. But yeah, equally to Gamer, back on top once again. That's exactly where we're used to seeing him, and that extends that ridiculous record that he's currently got. Only finished outside the top 2 positions once in the last 13 races. So yeah, it's business as usual for our reigning champion, and with Harry outside of the podium and equally KJ dropping some points tonight, that will possibly push, well, I will push Game up into the lead of the championship going into Zandvoort next week, which I'm sure a couple of these Dutchies will have their eyes on as picking up their first wins here in IRL F1. The likes of Nathan Warrisland and KJ, they'll all want to take that race win next week at Zandvoort. But yeah, I will let everyone shoot off because it is getting late. And we have had a long evening, but of thrilling action as usual here at IRL F1. So thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations, of course, goes out to Gamer, to Nathan, and to KJ Elting for picking up the podium. And thank you everyone for joining us. Hopefully you can join us for the rest of the week's racing here at Invictus Racing League. Of course, tomorrow night you've got F2 on both twitch.tv and on YouTube on the Xbox and on PS4. And of course, Wednesday you've got F3 and F4, and of course the PC League will be streaming live on YouTube, and join us on Thursday for the Realistic Performance League as they make their final appearance here at Austria, or our final appearance at Austria of the week. So yeah, plenty of action to come here on YouTube. You can subscribe to it as usual. Of course, like the video and make sure you comment, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff on the socials. We will see you in 7 days' time at Zandvoort. My name is Gareth, joined as always by Sab, signing off for this evening. And hopefully you have a great week, and we will see you very, very soon.